I'm Luke Summerhays.
I'm James J. Miles.
And I'm James the Jaster Stewart.
And I am Mus.
And you're listening to Monster Mash.
And on this week's episode, we are hunting Rompopolo.
Oh, yeah. Well, you guys do.
Oh, I forgot that you do that bit. I was going to do a gag.
Does he do that bit? It's not at the end of the episode? Like, usually for the next
No, I
monster?
mean, Jay does the, and we're hunting, and
Yeah.
this week we're
Does he?
hunting, da-da-da. It's Jay. Because I was going to be all like, oh, and then this week we're hunting a skulking, cowardly creature that
I thought
lives
it
in the
was into
slime and loves oil. Keir Starmer.
No.
I thought I just usually go straight into the monster description.
No. I guess you're blanked out during this part.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now it goes straight into the monster description.
Wild thing, you make my heart sing. You make
The Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did.
The monsters are under my bed. Get along with the voices inside of my head. You're trying to save me.
Dappled brute wyverns that prowl oil well basin. They use their tails to inject gas into the ground and detonate it, then feed on the small creatures that are unearthed. The toxic gas they spray from their tongues serve to weaken prey, which they then finish off with the blasts. Rompopolo are extremely territorial, and will readily engage their own kind.
I don't think I've ever seen it feeding on the small creatures, but that's horrifying. Like,
It makes me think of, I don't know if people do this in real life, but they do it in media, where you fish with dynamite,
Yeah.
where you just like explode a lake and then
Yeah,
grab
he's
the fish
exploding
float
to get
the
all the
top.
little kind of creatures out, yeah.
Yeah, just little bugs and mice and stuff.
that's brilliant.
This is our proper like new little freak for this game. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, it's like such a great design.
He was in one of the first trailers for the game, right?
Was he?
I'm pretty
Well,
sure
I
because
think you're just like I think you're remembering like one of the late, like second to last trailer. I think it might have been before the game came out.
I stopped watching.
It wasn't.
the
It
trailers,
wasn't.
and I guess
Wasn't in the first one.
maybe
Yeah,
not.
I don't remember seeing him. I don't think I'd seen him till I saw him in games. So
I don't think the very first trailer, but certainly one of the early trailers. I thought he turned up. But in any case, I remember.
Or
seeing
maybe it
the
was some
trailer.
sort of post online, like where there was a clip of him or something.
Could be, but yeah, I remember seeing him in a trailer, spotting him, and going, "This little freak rules!" Like,
mm-hmm.
just such a eerie, just a creepy design.
It's a very
On purpose, I think.
alien-like design as well, compared to like what you usually see in the series.
Well, like when you see it, it's like the oil like dripping off it, right? When it first emerges from the oil pools. You've got like that and it's like whole visage of the long beak, mouth, proboscis, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to place, right? What it actually is.
Well, what's great about it is that first appearance, like you say, rising up from the oil. It's like a horror creature. It seems really scary.
Mm-hmm.
But you spend 2 minutes with it, and like you feel sorry for it. It's definitely more scared of you than you are of it.
Yeah,
Like the gag I've seen a lot of people using online is being like, imagine being born, you're a creature made of balloons with knives for hands that lives in an exploding environment.
It's nice to have
okay.
yeah, it's nice to have an environmental niche, but also a little bit of danger. A little bit keep you on your toes. I suppose, like, because we are the invasive species in this game, I guess, much like World, because there are no hunters in this world, right? So for the natives, oh man, this thing must be An absolute horror. But for us, yeah, as hunters, it's not so bad. But everything about it feels very alien because it, obviously, like we said, just nothing about it is normal. Especially because it's encased in oil, which you don't typically associate with. You don't typically associate with organic life, right?
Well, yeah, it's got some elements with like the proboscis and the big, like, growths on its head that look like a fly, and there are flies that live in oil. So that's like the small element of a real creature they've brought in.
Mm-hmm.
But they've definitely been, like, Jas, you mentioned when we were doing Balahara that we've got coming up another one that's based on like an H.R. Geiger alien.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you were talking about this guy.
Yeah, like I think
It
I was just
really
like I think
looks
that's
like
just
an
like
enemy
that's
from
what I
Metroid.
thought when I initially saw. I think it was Rompopolo was like one of the ones when I saw it. I thought, oh, they're going with like I thought the whole theme of the game was going to be something that's more alien, and all of the designs like going kind of forward. That obviously Balahara included as well, because obviously you're exploring a foreign land that the hunters have not been to before.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's just like they only use that for some of the designs, which is fair enough. You can't go crazy, kind of creepy
Yeah, you wouldn't want the
building
whole
monsters
to be-
like every corner, like be a different game. Yeah, I really liked as well though. Like when this guy, I was going to say like when this I liked as well. Like it's kind of funny. Like when they first introduced this monster, and like most people's reaction would be like, "What the hell is that thing?" And like Alan was just like, "Oh, Rompopolo," just like calls it out and names it straight away. Like they know it. You're like, what?
Well, I guess the inhabitants of the I forget the name of the oil
Yeah.
settlement that's there, but they like they go and collect like the golden oil, the auric oil from the pools there, right? So like this is going to be a reasonably common threat for the villagers compared to something like an Ajarakan or the New Udra, which are going to be rarer threats for them. That they're not going to, if they even get a whiff of them, they're going to fuck off. Whereas Rompopolo, they're going to run into them.
But it's not actively hunting them, right? Because it tells us it hunts the small creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So the danger is just like, oh, there's a Rompopolo nearby. I hope it doesn't explode the ground underneath me while I'm busy.
While I'm collecting the oil that we need.
The fight for
so, little factoid, I didn't notice this myself, but I saw it on the wiki. Apparently, it's the only monster that the natives say its name.
Oh, really?
Because the other ones, they like the Ajarakan, they call them the Great Apes and stuff like that. But apparently they say Rompopolo.
It's in the area that Rompopolo is from. I swear this is true. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like those, what do you call them? You call them like heat trails. You know, where you can see the effect of heat in the atmosphere. Is that a thing you can see in the oil
like
basin?
heat haze?
Yeah, something like that. I feel like that is in the game, right? I'm not just hallucinating.
Yeah, when there's a lot of fire, there is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like it. I don't know. I really like the area in general. I'm not typically one for like volcanic areas in games, but I do quite like that whole area. It feels quite believable. Even the settlement, fantastical, sure. I really like the Rompopolo just fits in so well, and you've got this smoggy, oil puffing, exploding creature plus the heat haze. I just think they've done a good job. I just think it's a good lad that fits in perfectly with the area they've made.
Definitely agree with that. Like, I think the oil basins are really, like, compared to other volcanic areas they've done, like a really unique idea because they're going for almost like an industrial feel to the area.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the settlement obviously, like there's lots of forges and the lifts. It feels like almost like a power plant of sorts at times. And then when the area's in its inclemency weather state, like you see the like the big rock stacks, like emitting fire from the top of them, which I think are purposely meant to look like factory towers, like emitting like flame and fumes.
Yeah, it's like the fire spring. Like, point.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a really cool idea for a volcanic area. So yeah, they definitely nailed this area, and I think they nailed Rompopolo as well. It's a good fight, right? Like I think it's quite an interesting idea. It's not hard by any means, but
it's a fun fight because the Rompopolo is a very expressive monster, not just in the way it looks, but also the fact that because it inflates and deflates, there's a real kinetic back and forth between you and the monster. I say back and forth, it's predominantly you. Let's be real. It's predominantly you, but reminds me in a way, totally different style of monster, but like Royal Ludroth, for example, where it puffs up and there's a load of damage you can do, and by the end of the fight it looks tattered. Although in Rompopolo's defense, it will kind of like reinflate itself and then deflate.
Yeah, he can go around the block a couple of times rather than just.
Yeah, this isn't his first rodeo.
With Ludroth, it is just like, even if we end the hunt now, I've given you life-altering injuries.
Yeah,
it's that whole kind of design of the monster looking, sad and deflated, and then a bit more threatening when it's inflated is very much like one of my favourites, which they're cowards for not bringing back by this point, is Amtrios. So.
With Rompopolo, it almost feels like a defense mechanism where he's like, "Oh, I'm defeated. Leave me.
I'm just a little guy. Leave me alone.
I'm just a little goblin."
Yeah, I hadn't thought of this connection before, but now that you've done that voice, it's made me think, oh, Rompopolo's like one of the little weedy insect Beast Wars characters, or like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a little comedy, like Brute Wyvern, isn't he? It's definitely a
you have to respect
comedy monster, in a way.
I would say, like, definitely, like, at the stage we're at, but, like, I think when you first run across him, you have to respect him a little bit. Like,
explosions, like, I still struggle sometimes with explosions, to be fair. Like,
I was going to say, he's one of the first monsters who can catch you out with a big area attack like that.
Yeah, and I think, based on other monsters, like, we've spoken about so far and fought in the cast, like, because he's jamming this tail into the ground, he kind of punishes over aggression in that sense. You're like, oh, this is my time to go in, when he's actually preparing and basically like an explosive shield around them. And you're never really safe no matter where you are, because he'll try and hit you with longer range explosions or gob his like poisonous gas as well from his creepy ass tongue. So yeah.
Another tongue monster, is he?
Not.
Not quite.
I mean, the render I'm looking at of him on the Monster Hunter wiki, makes him look like more of a tongue monster than he is. I think he's a false tongue monster. He doesn't do it much in the fight.
Yeah, like
so he's
general, like you don't think poison a whole lot. It's like quite rare.
No. Yeah, I don't think of him as a tongue monster. I think of him as a big funny lad.
I tell you a little trick I think they might have missed, because with Turf Wars, basically it's always just the stronger monster is gonna end up slapping the hell out of the weaker monster, and the weaker monster legs it. I think it would be quite funny because Rompopolo is he's got the area of effect thing. It's not that Rompopolo wins. Well, I suppose this wouldn't be a turf war as such, but it's not that Rompopolo wins, but imagine he does a big explosion and just fucking legs it. I'd love to see stuff like that. I don't know how annoying it would be when you're like hunting another monster and then Rompopolo just does a fucking hit and run.
And then runs away.
I would love, I don't know. I think I'd like to see stuff like that,
It's kind of funny, like you mentioned that, like there is in the oil basin as well, the little small monsters like the Cranodont, I think they're called. Like, they have a tendency to latch onto a Rathalos and, like, they'll jump on its head and headbutt it. And I've seen one KO a Rathalos and then run away.
Yeah, there's... it's the Ruins of Wyveria as well. There's, like, the monsters that can stun, right? And there's always a little monster giving one of the bigger monsters grief, which I quite like.
What you described there must really reminds me of Yaku from World, which is run in, flash the monster,
Yes.
basically the equivalent of going and then running away.
Yeah. Because I'd love to see more stuff like that, because in nature, you know, more often than not, the predator does not win, or I guess the apex doesn't win as such. It doesn't catch its prey. I mean, I know in this game...
Clips you see online of a cat like
gonna eat
slapping a bear. Or like an alligator or something. And then the alligator like retreats.
Something for you to work on in the future, Capcom, anyway. Little tip from us.
The armor design for the Rompopolo, like really cool stuff, like the whole Plague Doctor thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, at least, let me have a look actually, because I'm wearing the female armor. And it's not necessarily as Plague Doctor-y as I was expecting. It's like got a little bit of a medical mask, but then it's more like a...
It's got like a little bit of a
puffy
steampunk
insulation suit or
steampunk
something.
vibe going on as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Whereas maybe
Steampunk
the
Plague Doctor.
helmet for the male is a little more Plague Doctor.
I think it's pretty...
100% is. Yeah. It's got the beak and everything.
Yeah.
Whereas the female set's almost more like a hazard suit. Like it definitely comes across more as like I'm wearing this to survive a hostile environment, whereas the male set's kind of like that, but it's got the Plague Doctor mask.
Yeah.
Definitely 100%.
It's also got all the like surgical instruments and stuff on the coat and whatever.
Yeah, which leads me I think more urgently to the Palico Rompopolo set. No, I'm thinking of New Idra. Forget that. Cut that.
Yeah.
The one that
Yeah,
the
the female one
Palico
is
like
more like
armor
a
is though.
fantasy.
The Palico armor for like Rompopolo is the brain in the jar one though.
Oh no! It is the brain in the jar. Sorry, yes,
the
don't
head
cut
is,
that. That's exactly what I was thinking of. The brain in the jar.
My Palico in the game, like I have the mix of Rompopolo head.
Yeah,
Udra.
You've confused me. You've confused me, Jazz.
I've got my brain in the jar octopus Palico, and he's the best.
Yeah. But the like the first time I saw that was just one of the weirdest Palico sets. They always got a bit like out there with the Palico sets compared to the actual Hunter armor. But
Like, that was so hilarious. Like once I fought Rompopolo in the story, like I made that from a Palico, and that's what he had in all of the cutscenes. So like when Cat has like certain like dialogue like parts, and it's just like a cat brain in a jar, like kind of waving about saying things. It's like I was like chuckling to myself like every time.
the description for the Rompopolo Palico headpiece is: this Rompopolo headgear may look like a brain floating in a jar, but best not to think about it. Best they nailed the environment. They nailed the assignment. Sorry, for making a creepy freak Palico set for the creepy freak monster.
I don't notice like in motion the Plague Doctor elements of like Rompopolo, but when you look at it in a still, you're like, oh, I can definitely see like with the eyes plus beak or proboscis, whatever you want to call it. It's like, oh yeah, no, Rompopolo itself does look a bit like a Plague Doctor. I just don't notice it in motion personally, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, not a. I mean, Plague Doctor, or just generally like medieval fantasy sort of potion seller, alchemist sort of character.
Yeah.
Like the
Is it Plague Knight in Shovel Knight is the one who throws potions and stuff, and then he has his own campaign. It's that sort of archetype, yeah.
the female gloves have got like syringes for like fingertips, which really reminds me of in the Batman Arkham games, the Scarecrow's design in that. He's got like needles for his hands to inject his fear toxin into. So
That's what like the
yeah, definitely
Lance.
horror
That's
vibe.
what the Rompopolo Lance design is as well. It's just like a big giant syringe. Like one of the best Lance designs in the game. It's so good.
That's cool.
Well, speaking of the lance, this is one of the easiest ones for us to
Yes.
figure out the naming on the weapons, because there's called stuff like dendrotoxin and robustoxin and latrotoxin. They're just all actual poisons.
Yeah, they use the first aspect. They don't have the toxin part, but it's like dendro,
Right.
rompodendro. Well, it's dendrotox, stuff like that. Robustox. So it's as good as, right?
The hammer, they changed it between the Japanese and the English, because in Japanese it's called homobatrotox. I would have. It's a shame. I would have wanted to use the homo hammer.
It's like a lot of people with the Monster Hunter community.
As for the
really want to use that hammer.
As for the monster's name, like the Japanese name is a little bit different. It's like Pupuroporu. And like between that and Rompopolo, I think it's more of like a onomatopoeia.
Yeah, that's what I was
it
going to
sounds
ask.
funny kind of name. Because especially like the
imagine-
Pupu and the Popo makes me think of Kirby. A lot of the Japanese titles are like Popo in Pupu World or whatever. And it's just like silly little childish onomatopoeias for balloons popping and stuff.
I can imagine like the Rompopolo is like the sound of the explosions that he makes. And that's where they get the name
Yeah.
from. I was actually going to ask that if it's an onomatopoeia, and it's just cleared that up for me. So it's good.
Yep. But it's like you look at that monster and you're like, yeah, that monster's called Rompopolo.
Yeah.
Do we have the mailbag thing? Is that a thing still?
We have a thing. I don't know if we have anything today though.
Oh,
Have you got some mailbag for us?
have I got some mailbag for you? No, I don't. I just wondered if we'd missed that off.
Let me open up. I haven't opened the Monster Mash YouTube account in a minute.
Tell you
so
what,
maybe
is there
someone's
a
left a
freak?
comment?
Is there a freak in every game? I'm assuming that we're
Yes.
settled on Rompopolo being this game's freaky dude.
Freaky deaky.
Yeah,
was the one?
I'd say World is probably Paolumu, right?
But Paoluma's like, it's a bit of a freak, but it's likable.
I was thinking Pukey would be that one.
Look,
That
if
was
you
the one
gaze
that
up there, that's a bit of a freak, yeah.
came to my head, but
Don't like the implication that Rompopolo isn't likable there, Luke.
Well, I mean, it's... Puke is, like, traditionally cute and fluffy. So
Really?
Rompopolo is a...
He's a
Oh,
cute
sorry,
guy.
no, Paolumu.
Paolumu.
Lumo, yeah, I was
yeah,
going to say like Pookie Pookie's
Yeah.
like.
yeah, Puki. And then any game that has Kazu in it, there's your freak.
oh well, yeah, that's true.
Forever freak. King freak.
King freak. Yeah.
Val Hazak as well.
Yeah, but it feels too.
But that was more like actually scary and big and dangerous. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once they become
And
too
Kulu
tough,
Yaku's like the lighter kind. That's more like the comedy.
That's the proper comedy.
Yes.
Like monster. Yeah.
yeah, like he's what I know he's a returning monster, but he's what dear God, but I've forgotten every name. Fart Monkey. That's the role that
Oh yeah.
Oh, Kongalala. Yeah.
Thank you. Yep, it's that in my bed.
Which one is Zamtrios?
Oh. Zamtrios is like in that Paolumu category, right? Of being like a big silly guy.
It depends on what state Zamtrios is in.
That's true.
Like when he's got ice armor.
He's all monsters.
Yeah.
time.
Like when he's ice armor, he's like the edgelord, like supreme. Like when he's the big floating. Like
If you
meatball, he's
can't
the comedy
handle me
monster.
at my floating meatball mode, you don't deserve me at my cool ice mode.
I think he's pretty damn cool in his meatball mode as well. So
There you go. You deserve both.
love that monster. Like he needs to come back.
I guess we have no mailbag.
No, I couldn't. The only YouTube message we've had on YouTube is just a nice one, which I shared with you guys. The one from Marley,
Oh,
still
yeah.
our number one super fan.
Hell yeah. I will press on urgently next time, regardless, and it will be a pain for you to edit, so on your head be it. So now that we've dealt with the Rompopolo... Whoa! Who's that flying through the sky? R-E-Y-D-A-U, Red Owl! It's Red Owl.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, that's the Rey Mysterio's original theme.
Yeah, I got that.
Thank you,
I like
Jess.
you didn't rhyme it with anything, so it just kind of tapered off. But like it's still so
Hey, that,
enjoyable.
look, the rhymes were back in the haiku days and the
Yeah.
and the rhymes days. Here you get what you're given and you fucking like it. Speaking of,
Well, and if you fucking like it, you can find this podcast on YouTube or all your podcasting apps. Please make sure to rate and review, like and subscribe. You can find us on Blue Sky at Podcast. You can go to podcastiopodcastius.org to hear the other podcasts that we create. And you can go to patreon.com/podcastiopodcastius to help support the podcast, keep it online, and line my pockets. And if you happen to live in the UK, maybe consider voting for an actual left-wing party next time.
bye.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Perfection.
Yeah, you nearly fucking forgot, didn't you?
Good.